So go ahead and
go ahead, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the November 3rd Cornwall Regional Airport Commission meeting. Can I get a mover to appoint me as meeting chair? And I cannot see anybody. I apologize. Somebody move and second me to be appointed as chair.
I'll move Martin Lang.
I'll second.
Okay, thanks,
Eric
Martin.
Bergeron.
Thank you, Martin. Moved by Martin, second by Eric. All those in favor?
In favor.
Favorite.
And Justin?
In favor.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. Moving on to item number 1. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for appointing me chair for this meeting. Can I get a mover and a seconder to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll move, Justin.
Moved by Justin, second by Eric. I've seen your hand up. All those in favor of the agenda as presented?
In favor.
Favorite.
Thank
Favor.
you. Perfect. Moving on to item number 3, approval of the minutes of the October 6th meeting 2021. Can I get a mover and a second?
Moved by Martin.
Thank you.
Seconded by Eric.
Thank you very much. All those in favor of the approving the minutes as presented?
Favor.
Favor.
Favorite.
Okay, carried. Thank you very much. I appreciate this. Moving on to item number 4, business arising from the minutes. Is there any business arising? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to item number 5, the manager's report. Mr. Small.
Hello, everyone. I suspect you all received the report, so I'll just go through it quickly here. After almost 2 years of no movement on our hangar that we have for rent, I have 3 people or 3 parties right now interested. The first one being Mr. Tim McDonnell from North Glengarry. Gave a brief report there of what his intentions are. The second one is the Academy of Aeronautics. It's a flight school that's operating at the Mirabel Airport right now, and they're looking for a location for a satellite school. I've kind of been advised that basically it's to find a place that it's cheaper to operate from than the Mirabel Airport, as they say they're slowly getting squeezed out of the Mirabel Airport and it's getting very costly. So I have, I think as an attachment to my report, I have his proposal for you all to read. And the third one is on Monday, I virtually showed the hangar to a flight school from British Columbia, Canadian Aviation College, Mr. John Ling. And again, they were interested in renting a hangar for the same purpose, to open an eastern base for their flight school. Apparently Mr. Ling of British Columbia, he says he was entertained in December of 2019, but I don't ever recall meeting with him, so I'm not sure who exactly met with him and showed him the hangar and the facilities. So I guess it's decision time to see who we move forward with or how we handle this situation. The Montreal or Mirabel based school is the most aggressive at this time. They're ready to look at a lease whenever we have one ready, and if acceptable, to sign it. The other gentlemen are still kind of in the negotiating stage. The gentleman or the school from BC says he was given the option of 2 years lease free to move here or open a base here. So I'm not sure who told him that or where that came from. So he's still in the negotiating stage, as well as Mr. McDonnell. So I guess we need to make a decision on who we move forward or to go to the next step with, or how we handle this. If anyone has any comments or.
Are you, Mr. Chair, would you like
Yep.
us to discuss this now, or would you like to hear the rest of the report and then go through, or how would you like to handle that?
Thank you. I was just about to say, what are the feelings of the committee? Do you want to would you like Mr. Small to finish his report and then we could go back to the leases, or just deal with it now that it's at the top of the screen? I'm okay with either or.
This is Martin. Can I make a comment?
Yes, please.
I think we need to do, I'm not ready to, we've got 3 proposals here, but I don't know how much time Mr. Small has had to look into these 3 people or 3 businesses. I think we should do a little bit of homework, a little bit of research. And I don't know if you want to have a committee of 2 members and Mr. Small or something like this, or we just want Mr. Small to get back to us and do it himself. But I would like to know a little more about these businesses before I just, jump on, the first one that comes along says he's ready to sign. If there's 3 of them, I'd like to, see what our options are. And I think we need to go over our, we just had a report done for the airport. And I'm just trying to remember in that report if they had advised us on what they thought our lease rate should be, or if we should be looking at those. I just off the top of my head can't remember. I'd like to go back and through and look and see if I see a proposal here where they're suggesting 20,000, 2,500 a month. Is that what was suggested in that proposal or not? I don't know what everybody else is thinking. That's just kind of what's running through my mind at the moment. That I'd like to just think about this a little bit and make sure we're doing it right.
I can't see anybody else's face. I apologize. Do Justin or Eric, do you have any comments?
Yeah, Eric here.
Yep.
I was gonna suggest the same thing. We have 3 interested parties. I would very much not like to be in the same situation we were a year ago with the lease holder. So I would do a little bit more due diligence. If that's a committee, maybe like I would volunteer maybe with Martin to participate in a couple of calls and just give our feedback to the group at our next meeting. I don't think any of these are time sensitive in terms of in the next 30 days, but these are some pretty big, which path we take here is important. So that would be my recommendation, which sounds like what Martin was suggesting as well.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Justin?
Yeah, I would tend to agree. That seems to be the prudent way forward. It's kind of funny how we don't have any action for a while, then all of a sudden it happens at once. It's a good problem to have, don't get me wrong, but I think, being prudent is always good. We tried to get someone from Mirabel for years, and now we have all this interest. But yeah, let's have a committee struck so they can review, maybe touch base with these organizations, see what their long-term plans are, because that'll definitely have a bearing, I think, on which direction we should go. So I would support the creation. I would move forward. I would put forward the motion to create a committee.
Okay, I concur with what's been said so far. I have no issue with a member from each municipality and Mr. Small, forming a committee and exploring this further. I think Martin's was right to say, let's do this, cautiously, and I think that's the way forward. So, Justin, did you want to, Tim, do we need we should do a resolution. Justin said he would do a resolution to form a committee for the proposed, just to form a committee to look into the leasing.
Okay.
Okay, Justin, did you want that written a specific way?
That we create a committee consisting of 1 representative from each municipality to review the proposals for leasing the hangar and come back with a recommendation to the commission.
Sounds good. Can I get a seconder?
Yeah, second that.
Okay, moved by Justin.
I'd just like to add that, and I think it was inferred, but 1 from each municipality. But I'd like Mr. Small to be on the committee too, because I think he has the background we need.
Yes, for sure. It was 1 from each municipality and the manager. Yeah. Okay. All those in favor of the resolution?
Favor?
In favor.
Favorite.
Okay, motion is carried. Thank you very much, guys. look forward to hearing back on. Hopefully, you'll have some good news for the commission at our next meeting.
Sorry, and just to confirm, it's going to be Martin and Eric, or?
Martin, Eric, and yourself, and then
Okay.
report back to us. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
So I guess you can finish your report now.
Okay. Yeah, so I did give notice to the 2 private aircraft that are in there. So they have till the end of November I have the option to let them go at the end of November. In regards to the land clearing that we've been talking about on our west property, I have wording. I've printed out some wording here for the RFP for your review and comments, and we can adjust it from there. Can everybody see it? Has the opportunity?
So the RFP, that's going to be going out into the local papers and whatnot.
Correct. Yeah. So we're going to look for the best deal, or maybe no deal, or whatever works for us in regards to clearing, installing the drainage in lieu of payment, a lease of some term. Yeah.
Okay. Steve, we did that before with other parcels belonging to the commission, correct?
That's correct. Mr. Chrétien back in 95, I believe, and Mr. McLaughlin just 2 going on 3 years ago now. We did it with both of them. It was a 10-year lease. They did all the work. They had a 10-year lease. Of course, Mr. Chrétien has been paying for quite a few years now. And Mr. McLaughlin is, like I say, 3 years in now, I believe. I'd have to check the exact number.
And this, what's proposed here is potentially the same idea. Instead of us paying for the work to be done, the individual will pay for it and then reap the benefit of the land for a set period of time. Okay.
Correct. On the previous 2, we didn't do RFPs. It was just they came to us and we just made the deal kind of thing. So this is our first attempt doing it this way.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's a step in the right direction. Are there any other questions or comments of the members, committee members on this this part of the report?
What do you think, Martin? I just had a question in regards to just holding the, kind of, it's being done, but are we going to set a standard? Just, it has to be done to a certain amount. Like somebody throws in, poor centers thinking they'll cheap out on it. We want it done right.
I think I agree with you, but I think we've kind of covered that because it says we reserve the right to accept any or all offers. So if somebody comes in and they want to tile it at 60-foot spacing and another guy's a little more reasonable at 30, 35, where we should be these days, we can accept one over the other. Or we can accept none and say, look, unless you guys are going to put the tile spacing at where we want, we're not interested, So I think we're leaving it open. We could put a spacing in, I guess, but I would just ask them in their submission, make sure it's going to be tiled by somebody that is credible and is approved, by the Ontario Tile Drainage Association.
Yeah, I just thought maybe wording, I'd agree, just wording that specifies the tile work specifically has to be done by an Ontario accredited tile drainage, super, whatever the accreditation's called. They're like, say Robinson or Dave.
Yeah, we could put that in. It has to be done by, someone licensed to do tile drainage in Ontario.
And do we want a plan submitted? Not necessarily, full schematic, but, propose the tile at 30-foot centers or at 40-foot centers or whatever that would be.
Mr. Small or Steve, was this done in the past, or would this will be all new?
This would be new, setting the standard. Yeah, no, we allowed the leaser to just do his thing. So,
okay. Well, I think they're good suggestions. The price of land gone,
I think we can, when we get the offers, we can, that can be part of the, the offer, like we can ask to see that if it's, you know, one looks better than the other. So you could throw that in though, that we'd like it tiled by a, you know, someone licensed to do tile drainage in Ontario.
Okay,
Just to make sure that somebody isn't going into the backhoe and just putting a few runs in here and there.
Yeah, that was just my fear, that somebody, you know, would figure they would, well, I'll buy some tile through one of the companies, and you know, it looks like this spot's gonna be wet, that spot, and I'll put a main running through, and I'll put the least amount possible to get it done when the intention is to have it done properly.
Okay, thank you very much for those comments, guys. Eric or Justin, did you have any further comments or questions?
Nope, I was leaving that to the subject matter experts there.
Yeah, what he said, that's basically it. It's your,
You-
it's your field house, so take your word on it.
You guys caught that too, eh? Okay, keep going, Steve.
all right. So in regards to the actual wording, I'm not a legal type person. Should I get some advice, or do you think that it's
Well, I think our staff, Steve, I think our staff would be able to guide you.
Okay.
Maybe Crystal or Michelle. We put out RFPs all the time, and I think they'd be able to help you just make sure that it's worded so that it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, thank you.
No
All
worries.
Moving along, the Cornwall Flying Club, who use our terminal trailer for their meetings on an agreement we have where they do the cleaning and helping out and stuff. They've asked if they could put a monitor on the wall. They're having semi-virtual meetings lately, and they wanted to mount a monitor at their expense on the wall. I don't see any problem with it, so I thought I'd just mention at the meeting here in case anyone could think of a reason not to.
I'm good with it.
Yeah,
I am too.
I'm good
yeah,
with it.
we have a good working relationship with them, so.
Perfect.
And moving along, this is just for everyone's information. When the city of Cornwall made their announcement, Mr. Aaron Bell contacted me. He seems to represent an investment group in Cornwall, and he just wanted to let me know that if there was any way or any opportunities or any way he could help the airport, he would be open to proposals, or he would submit a proposal or anything like that. So I've kept his information handy. And the next thing, and looking at everything that's going on, I was wondering if maybe it isn't the time for our own economic impact study. I know it costs money, but if we need to persuade some people about the airport, maybe this is the time we need to think about that.
Okay.
And yeah, the leases for signing are still outstanding, so I'll contact Dean again to see if to remind him to pick them up. The last one, Mr. Kenna has invested some money into it now, and he's asking when he might receive the lease. He's got an architect and the design work being done for his new hangar.
Okay, perfect.
A few things that have gone on at the airport. We did some extra crack sealing with my budget, and the Coast Guard and D&D had a search and rescue operation on October 20th. And to our benefit, we had about $1,000 in profit from the fuel that 2 helicopters bought. And so that helped us out with a little more money for our budget. And the rest is pretty standard stuff. Our fuel pricing hasn't changed. With 2 months to go, we've already sold just over 5,000 more liters of jet fuel than last year. But unfortunately, we're down by about 12,000 liters of avgas with 2 months to go. So we probably aren't going to make it, seeing that the poor weather's coming up. I would say the price of the fuel and just the whole situation has slowed down people's flying lately. So, yeah, so that's it, my report for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Stephen, for that report. Are there any other questions of committee members for Mr. Small? Just speak up, I can't see you. Okay, moving on to the next item. Regional Airport sorry, I can't read that. Grant, the Regional Airport grant, my apologies.
I'll take that one for you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
So I've sent 2 emails since the last time the commission met in early October. The first email response was that they were still looking at it and for consideration. I emailed and had correspondence again today. Our representative through ECDEV has changed. It was forwarded on to the RATI email, which is the grant that we applied for. And at this point, the response was that because of the change, not the change in government with the election, they're still getting organized. So our grant application is still sitting and is there for consideration. So that's the update really, which is no update. There's no, the good thing is there's no final decision yet. So.
Okay, no news is good news. Are there any questions for Tim on that? Anyone? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to item 7, Cornwall Regional Airport Agreement, City of Cornwall.
I can start through you, Mr. Chair, with an update on that, and then I would turn it back over to you for discussion with the committee members. So I received information, had a discussion with the CAO in the city of Cornwall, and then the resolution went to Cornwall City Council on October 12th, which with a recommendation that the city of Cornwall terminate the airport agreement from 1984. When it was presented before city council, the vote was to terminate the agreement. On October 26th, the mayor of the city of Cornwall, Mayor Grant, and Deputy Mayor Warden, along with myself and CAO Maureen Adams from the city, met and had an initial discussion about the agreement, how each side felt, and it was a short meeting, I would say, but a productive meeting. And at that point in time, it was decided we would then go back to our respective councils and have discussions and to see where each council was at and what the Township of South Glengarry would like to do, to consider in terms of moving forward. At this point, that's where it's at. The city of Cornwall is still at the, it's not of the opinion, it's the decision that they want to negotiate to terminate. And that's to be determined how that will look and how that will be moving forward. There have been discussions about it being 1, 2, or 3-year exit, but there's discussions. The next item on the agenda is budget, so that, you know, this certainly does have an impact on discussions that we will have for the 2022 capital budget, operational budget, sorry, not capital budget, operational budget for the Cornwall Regional Airport. So that's the update on that one. I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair, for discussion.
Okay. Are there any comments or questions from any of the members, either side? I can't see you again.
Yeah, I'll have a question.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about budget next, is it on the assumption that this committee has to create a budget and submit it to the city regardless, or is that the dilemma that we're faced with here?
Well, I think we have to submit it regardless.
Yeah.
At this point in time, the agreement that's been in place since 1984 is still in play. And until a time where both parties agree to anything different, that's status quo. And we need to continue on that way, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That makes the next conversation pretty easy then. So that's good. Thanks.
Mr. Chair, it's Martin.
Yep.
I agree with that. I think we, as a commission, need to move forward and need to continue things, you know, progressing and at least continue on with the day-to-day operations. So I think budget needs to move forward. I'm hopeful that this isn't, I've heard this more than once now that, this could be, 2 years, 3 years. I don't, if the city has made their decision, I hope it doesn't go on that long. I think that's going to make it very hard for this commission or any commission, and that whatever that happens in the future, I don't like that uncertainty going on for that long. So I'm hopeful that negotiations with the city will happen sooner than later, and whatever is going to happen to the airport is decided so that it can continue on. Because it just kind of seems like we're up in the air all the time now. So I think the commission needs to do the best we can until something is decided, but I'm hopeful that's decided sooner than later.
Thank you, Martin.
Mr. Chair?
Yep, go ahead, Sam.
I was just gonna say, I'll echo the other members' comments as well. I mean, I think we have to go status quo because the agreement is still in place until the day it's terminated, but I do hope it doesn't drag out that long.
Okay, thank you. Justin, did you want to say anything? I can't see you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, until the agreement changes, it has to be status quo. I mean, a notice was given that the majority of council felt that the agreement should be exited, but that won't take place for a few years. So until that point, the city is still committed to this agreement as it stands.
Okay, well, we're hoping it's not going to take 3 years, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so pretty well that discussion is had, and I think we're all pretty well on the same page in that regard. So I guess the next option, or the next item on the agenda, is the budget. Mr. CEO, I can't see the homepage again.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So just at this point, I think we've covered off the second point on budget, which is the second point being we'll have to come back in the next meeting with a recommendation for the 2022 budget. Prior to that, at this point in time, Crystal, if you can just bring up a visual there of 2019, 20, and 21, and it just gives an idea of where we're at. I don't know if you can make that a little bigger for the committee.
I can see it, so I can see it like everybody else can.
Okay, so if we just go to the top, it has, if you can just go, we just need to make that a little smaller so we can go over. I think 100% will be okay. Yeah. So you see the revenue expense for 19, 20, and 21, which is to date, which 21 is not obviously complete. If you go down a little more to the bottom, you'll see the contribution from each. So in 19, it was 86.15. In 20, it was 103.18, and to this point, that's correct. Can you just expand on that, Crystal, with the 70,000?
I would assume that's the land purchase in there.
That's the land purchase. Sorry, yeah, that's correct. So the 103,000 is where it was left, though. The other amount was not approved by Cornwall City Council. We did not proceed with hiring a full-time airport manager of what those funds were meant for. But this is meant to give the Regional Airport Commission an idea of what we might be looking at for 2022. We'll have to have a discussion with Mr. Small about I would imagine revenues. We're not at the same operating volume that we were because of the pandemic, but so that gives an idea for the commission of where we're at, and we'll be able to update the commission fully and have a more detailed discussion in December. At that point, we will have had some direction from each of our councils and some correspondence that may assist with us finalizing a 2022 budget.
All right, thank you very much for that, Mr. CEO. Is there any questions of the committee members? Hearing none, I guess we'll have some work to do before the next meeting. What is the next item on the agenda?
Need a motion to move into closed session.
Okay, can I have somebody to move to approve?
I'll move, Lyle. Sam?
Sam will move, second by,
Second by Martin.
okay, all those in favor of moving into closed session?
Just through you, Mr. Chair, you have the agenda in front of you. If not, I'll read off the reason for it. Moving into.
I don't have it. I'm not sure why. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Could you read that, please?
2 items: labor relations or employee negotiations, and a position
Okay.
plan, procedure, criteria, instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board.
All right, thank you very much.
We'll just confirm that we're going to stop recording